Welcome to today's video on personal relationships and the importance of understanding your partner's true personality before it's too late. You need to know what you're getting into, because love may be blind, but it sure ain't deaf, dumb, and stupid. You gotta go into this thing with your eyes wide open. I'm Famous Brown, and today we're diving into the concept of the Last Supper in relationships. That's right, that final moment of truth where you lay it all out on the table. We're gonna talk about 6 personality types you need to watch out for. The kind of folks who'll eat your lunch and steal your dessert. Let's talk about the oversensitive soul. This is the person who's scared to death of criticism. They're terrified of disapproval, and everything, I mean everything, is taken personally. You tell them their hair looks nice, they think you're implying it usually doesn't. They're constantly reading between the lines, finding insults where none exist. You'll spend your whole life walking on eggshells trying not to set them off, and sooner or later, they'll decide you've turned on them, and that's when they turn on you. You gotta ask yourself, is this the kind of relationship I want? Constantly watching what I say, how I say it, afraid to be myself? Because let me tell you something, that kind of pressure cooker environment, it ain't healthy. It breeds resentment, frustration, and eventually, it'll blow up in your face. Look, everybody's got their sensitivities, but there's a difference between being in tune with your feelings and being held hostage by them. You deserve to be with someone who can handle your truth, who can take a little constructive criticism without crumbling. Don't settle for anything less. Now let's talk about the resentful ruminator. This is the person who's carrying around a whole lot of baggage, a whole lot of anger, a whole lot of woe is me. They've been wronged, at least in their minds, and they're holding on to that hurt like a life raft. They replay every slight, every disappointment, every perceived injustice, over and over and over again, and you know what? They might not even realize they're doing it. It's like this low-grade fever, always simmering beneath the surface, but sooner or later that fever's gonna spike. And when it does, somebody's gonna get burned. It might start subtly, a snide comment here, a passive-aggressive jab there, but over time it escalates. They start keeping score, holding grudges, using your past mistakes against you. And before you know it, you're walking on eggshells, afraid to breathe for fear of triggering another explosion. Here's the thing. You can't fix someone else's baggage. You can't make them let go of their past hurts. All you can do is decide whether you want to be their emotional punching bag while they figure it out. And trust me, you don't. Let's talk about the green-eyed monster, the jealous lover. This is the person who's always looking over their shoulder, always suspicious, always afraid someone's trying to steal you away. They're insecure, possessive, and they'll try to control your every move. You go out with your friends, they want to know who you're with, what you're doing, when you're coming home. You get a text message, they need to see it. You get a phone call, they gotta know who it is. It's exhausting, it's suffocating, and it's a major red flag. Jealousy stems from a deep-seated fear of abandonment, a lack of trust in themselves and in you, and no matter how much you reassure them, no matter how much you prove your love, it's never enough. They'll always find something to be jealous of, someone to be threatened by. Here's the deal. You can't build a healthy relationship on a foundation of insecurity and mistrust. You deserve to be with someone who trusts you, who celebrates your friendships, who doesn't see every interaction as a threat. Don't settle for anything less. Chapter 4. Now let's talk about the low self-esteem sufferer. This is the person who's always putting themselves down, always doubting their worth, always convinced they're not good enough. They're afraid of failure, afraid of change, and they set the bar so low they're practically tripping over it. They might be charming, they might be funny, they might even be successful on paper, but deep down, they're riddled with self-doubt. And that insecurity can be a real drag on a relationship. They might not believe you when you compliment them. They might sabotage your efforts to help them. They might even push you away because they don't think they deserve your love. Here's the thing. You can't love someone else's insecurities away. You can't build them up if they're determined to tear themselves down. And eventually, their lack of self-respect can start to wear on you. You might start to feel resentful, like you're constantly carrying the emotional weight of the relationship. You might start to question your own judgment, wondering why you're with someone who doesn't even like themselves. Chapter 5. Let's talk about the compulsive fabricator, the one who spins tales like a spider spins webs. This is the person who lies about big things and small things, who can't seem to help themselves. They embellish stories, they invent details, they create whole alternate realities. At first it might seem harmless, even amusing, but over time those little white lies start to add up. You start to question everything they say, wondering what's true and what's not. The problem with compulsive liars is that they often believe their own lies. They've constructed this elaborate facade and they're terrified of letting it crumble. So they keep spinning and spinning and spinning until they're caught in their own web of deceit. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and once that trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. If you're with someone who can't be honest with you, even about the small stuff, it's time to get out. Chapter 6. And finally, let's talk about the heartless hedonist, the gold digger. This is the person who's always looking for a free ride, who's more interested in your wallet than your heart. They're charming, they're persuasive, and they know exactly what to say to get what they want. They'll shower you with compliments, they'll tell you everything you want to hear, and they'll make you feel like $1,000,000. But it's all an act, a carefully crafted performance designed to get their hands on your money. They'll come up with elaborate stories about why they need your financial help. They'll promise to pay you back, but the checks always seem to get lost in the mail. And before you know it, you've drained your bank account, maxed out your credit cards, and they're nowhere to be found. Look, there's nothing wrong with wanting a partner who's financially secure. But there's a big difference between wanting someone who's got their act together and wanting someone who's going to foot the bill for your lavish lifestyle. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions early on in a relationship. What are their financial goals? What are their spending habits? What are their values when it comes to money? Because the last thing you want is to wake up one day and realize you've been played for a fool. Outro, remember, understanding these personality types can save you from a lot of heartache. Knowledge is power, and the more you know about yourself and what you want in a partner, the better equipped you'll be to make healthy choices. If you're already in a relationship, consider having your own last supper to come clean and set the foundation for a healthier future. It's never too late to communicate your needs, set boundaries, and work towards a more fulfilling partnership. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on personal relationships. We're all in this together, folks. Let's help each other navigate the choppy waters of love and find that lasting connection we all deserve.